Hey, what's up everyone? I've had the hybrid racing shifter for a week now, so time to review this thing. If you want to watch an installment video of this thing, I did one in my previous video. I'll post up the link for it in the description, and I'll also leave a link for it at the end of the video on the outro. The first thing I gotta say is I really do like this shifter. It for sure enhanced the driving enjoyment I get out of driving this car. What I like about it the most is that it feels like the factory one, but with more performance. And I think that's due to these springs down here. This one down here and this one right here on the side. It gives it this factory feel that I loved about the stock one, but with a performance kick to it. And that was one thing I was worried about when I bought this thing. So I really like the way the OEM one feels. It feels just right. And when I put this one on, I was scared I was going to take that away. But no, if anything, it kept that OEM feel. But like I said, with a performance feel attached to it. Alright, now the way I set mine up is I raised this up a little higher than it would be if it would be flush up here. I left this one flush down here as well, so like the highest it can be. And I left the shifter cables right in the middle on both, which is how you get them out of the box. Now I left them on there just so I can drive the car and then get the feel of it, and then if I felt like the throw was too long, then I was gonna adjust that, or if it was too short, then I was gonna adjust it here too, that being front to back and side to side. But driving it the way it came out of the box with them being in the middle, I loved it. It doesn't feel exaggerated short and it doesn't feel too long. The gearing is just, to me it's perfect. This is how I want it, and this is great. Now as you can tell, I didn't upgrade my shifter cables. These are the factory ones. So far this thing works great with them. There's no issue of any kind and no complaints from me. I don't know if I'll be upgrading. Well, right now I don't know. Maybe in the future I'll upgrade them. Maybe the cables, maybe just the bushings. As of now, I'm content with what I have here now. Now I did have some issues with this thing, and that's due to adjusting. Now hybrid racing just gives you 4 bolts and then they throw it in the box and they're like, here, install it, which makes it look easy. Like I said, just those 4 bolts and then you throw the cables on. Now I wasn't the only one that had this issue. I found out a lot of people had an issue with this. Now see, when you get this out of the box, you see these bolts down here and then this thing, and the bolts are on there, they're not loose, and you just leave them alone and you start driving the car. So when I first got this thing, I installed it, I drove the car for 2 days, it drove fine. On the 3rd day, I noticed that the shifter felt a little different and I couldn't figure out why. And my my 5th gear felt mushy and it didn't want to go all the way in. And then when it would, sometimes it'll pop right back out. And my gearing felt a lot shorter than it used to the first 2 days, which was bothering me because I had it how I wanted. And then the day after that, I couldn't get into 5th gear at all. There was no 5th gear. It's like if I had a 4th gear car. And my reverse, since the gears felt very, very short on this end, reverse felt like it was a mile away, like it was all the way over here. I had to use both hands just to get it all the way over there and try to get it in reverse. So what I did was I loosened these up a little more, put it back to where I originally had it from when I got it out of the box, tightened it, and problem fixed. Every gear was there again. So if you're watching this and that's happening to you, well, this is the problem right here. All it needs is some adjusting and then you tighten back up. Like I said, it wasn't just me, it was tons of people on the forum that were having that issue. Easy fix, just very annoying when you don't know what it is. Another issue I had was, I think I had this thing adjusted a little more this way, and then when I threw my center console on just to see what it would look like, it whenever I would shift down, which is to second, fourth, this thing would hit right here, and I didn't have these bolts on yet. I just kind of mocked it up just to see what it would look like. Well, it'll shoot it back because this thing was too far back, so it hit this thing. I readjusted this thing, and you know what? I haven't really tested it out yet, so I'll do that now, and I'll show you guys what the problem was. Alright, now that the center console's on, see, like, if I were to shift back, now everything is fine. Nothing comes off its hinges. Everything works fine. But see, this is me in reverse. Now, that piece is right here. And I barely have any clearance. See, I can't even stick my finger in there. Now, that's with this thing adjusted to where I have it. If I would bring it any closer to me, or if I had it more over here on this side, going into fourth gear or in reverse would hit the center console, and since I had it bolted off, it would shoot it off its hinges right here. So if I were to have it bolted on, I would not be able to get into fourth gear. So just take that into consideration when you're adjusting this thing, because like I said, I drove it for a week, I set it up how I wanted it, and then I threw the center console on, and turns out I can't do those settings. Well, yeah, this is what this thing looks like with the center console on, which is how I'm planning to keep it. It hides it very well. If anything, you can't even tell I have a short shifter if you're not inside the car using it. From the outside, just looking, it looks factory. Unless you want to show it off, I guess you could take the boot off, but for me, I like it this way. And that ends my review for the hybrid racing shifter. Those are my thoughts and opinions and experience with this thing. If you're thinking about buying this thing, hopefully this helps you make up your mind. Or like I said, if you're having issues with it, hopefully this helped you. If you are, like I said earlier in the video, if you need help installing this, I do have a video of it being installed. I do recommend this thing if you're done with your car and you want to get some detail for it and driving. I'd say go for it. If you're like a horsepower guy or like a cosmetic guy, you like your car looking nice from the outside and inside, I'd say get those things first, then get this thing last, because this thing isn't a must-have. It feels great, and the price I think is like $340, which is a good price for this thing. Feels great, drives great, priced reasonably, but honestly you don't need it. The factory one works fine. I mean, if yours broke, then you know, upgrade is nice. But this thing's great. Besides it being a little flimsy from side to side or whatever, it feels fine. I've had my car for, I want to say, almost 6 years, and I've never had any issues with this thing. It drives great. I've never missed a gear. Remember, this thing, they built the Type R for racing, and they had this thing. The RSX has the same box as the Type R, so I mean, there you go. It was engineered for racing. It feels great. But like I said, if you do want to get it, go for it. If you have other things you want to get, I'm not saying don't buy this. Just get those things first. Put this on your list. And yeah, that's just my opinion. Like I said, it's up to you what you want. With that said, I'll end the video there. If you want to see more videos of the car or any modifications on this thing, make sure you subscribe. I'll be uploading maybe once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks. Whenever I do anything to the car or car related, I'll be posting on there. And yep, that ends that. I was having a good day today, and then I see this thing. Freaking screw in my tire. Damn.